All right, welcome to the Skinny Jean Formula. This is the MAD Method, Chapter 10, Lesson 10. Carbohydrates. So, I'm not going to go into too much depth here, but I will explain the basics of carbohydrates and the baseline facts about what you need to know. I bet you hear a lot of talk out there about how carbs are bad. Well, don't believe it. It's not true. I'm not joking. Carbs are made to be the bad guys, and certain types of carbs are like sugar and white flour, processed flour. Yeah, did you know that your brain runs on glucose and that glucose is primarily made from carbohydrates? So the first things first, let's get the good and bad out of the way. So good carbs, have a list of the following: sweet potatoes, brown rice, yams, beets, fruit, ancient grains, unprocessed wheat, quinoa, vegetables, and whole grain pasta. Just some of the few. Bad carbs, processed sugars, white flour, white pasta, candies, sweets, white rice, sugar, and more sugar. So you get the point. Here's how to use the good carbohydrates during your day. Basically, your body needs glucose to operate. If you don't have it, you start to crash and become sluggish. At certain times of the day, you need it more than others. And here are the times of the day you need more, and you may eat more carbs with the meals. So one of them is post-workout, definitely after your workout. You need those carbohydrates because you just burned off a bunch of them. And if you don't put them back in, what will happen if you're used to eating carbs is your body will start to take your muscle and turn it into glucose and use that as energy. So you want to put some good, healthy, complex carbohydrates back in your body so you have something to go on. So the morning, when you first wake up, is a great time to have some ancient grains, quinoa, some kind of whole wheat stuff, and then, or even like a fruit shake. And after that, afternoon, midday crash, you can have some complex carbohydrates to get you through till the night, all right? So here are the times of day that you generally don't want carbohydrates: lunch, pre-workout, late afternoon, right before bed, middle of the night. Now, all these things are dependable based on what you want, your goals, and kind of what plan you're on. But these are kind of the guidelines, all right? So the reason I say lunch is because usually after your workout, which is in the morning or at night, if it's in the morning, you've already had carbohydrates. Lunch should be more of a protein workout or a protein meal. And then pre-workout, you're going to have some carbohydrates after that. And I'm betting that before you worked out, you either just got up or you had breakfast, which you already had carbohydrates in there. So after that, late afternoon, you don't necessarily want them late afternoon. Mid-afternoon, early afternoon is okay. And right before bed. Now, this is kind of a theory that's debatable, but I would just say right now, try not to eat too many of them. You can have maybe a smoothie, a small smoothie, or a couple pieces of fruit, but don't overload on the carbohydrates before you go to bed. And in the middle of the night, make sure you have some kind of snack like a protein shake or nuts before you go to bed, or if you have a midnight craving. So follow these simple guidelines and you'll be set. Be sure to eat the right kinds of carbs, not the bad kinds. You will see the difference immediately. So here's a breakdown of your macros throughout the day. I would recommend downloading MyFitnessPal and using it as it seems to be the easiest and user-friendly. Try to aim for this split in your macro pie on days you work out. And macro pie means macronutrients pie. So macronutrients are fat, carbs, and protein. And you have a pie during your day. So if you look at a circle, you can divide it up into 3 pieces of the pie. And each piece is going to have protein, fat, and carbohydrates in it. And this is the split that I recommend doing for weight loss and building lean muscle tone. And protein is 40%, fat is 25%, and carbs is 35%. If you're familiar with the MyFitnessPal app, you'll see it as soon as you log in. There's going to be a big circle there, and it's going to be a color pie. It's going to have carbs, fat, and protein like we just talked about in that pie. And if you start logging food, it's going to show you how much of that pie is broken up into what pieces. So you want an ideal mix is protein 40, fat 25, and carbs 35. So try to shoot for that on your daily basis. On days that you don't work out, try aiming for this split: protein 40%, fat 35%, and carbohydrates 25%. So you don't need as many carbohydrates on the days you don't work out. All right, so you're going to be doing this program if you're doing my workouts, and you'll be resting some days. You won't be working out. So try to shoot for that split on the days that you don't work out. And you can download this PDF script. So you have all these numbers right in front of you. Right below the video, there's a link that you can download it so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so here's what I want you to do. I could list out every single food and give you the exact facts on them, but that is what MyFitnessPal does. So download that app I just talked about. Now, before you get overwhelmed with this, take a day or two to figure it out. This is the simplest way to keep track of and analyze what you eat, but it will take some getting used to. Make sure you're dialed in and understand a step before you start the next one. If you do this for a couple days and start inputting your food in the MyFitnessPal app, it'll get easier. The first day is going to be hard because you're going to be like, what is this? I got to input all this food and all these different things. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but that's okay because once you get it, it's easy. It's a piece of cake and it becomes like a habit. So do it for a couple days, get used to it, and then move to the next step. It's okay. We're not in any huge hurry here. All right. So now that you figured out your food and macros, let's set your first goal. This is where it gets exciting. So next lesson, we're going to talk about your first number one goal. I'm going to show you exactly how to set it and what time frame to set it for so you'll reach success in the most efficient amount of time. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I'll talk to you next time.